David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, the breaking news, the sad news. Dolly Parton has died. We look back. The legendary singer, songwriter, actress, and entrepreneur. Tonight, her humble roots shaping her music, her love of people, her generosity, her tolerance, her lyrics speaking to so many.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
A career spanning more than 6 decades, nearly 50 studio albums, 11 Grammys, 3 Emmys, 2 Oscar nominations. The stories behind her music, Coat of Many Colors, I Will Always Love You, where she was, what she did when she first heard Whitney Houston's recording of her song. Tonight, the story behind the movie 9 to 5, her hit song, and what she had done when she showed up on that movie set. And tonight, what her family is now saying, what Dolly had just revealed about her health. Dolly Parton, in her own words. The other news tonight, the emergency right now, the devastating new wildfires erupting outside Fort Worth. Homes engulfed in flames. Also breaking, we have learned a U.S. Army Blackhawk helicopter has gone down with 4 people on board. Tonight, the U.S.-Canada trade war explodes after President Trump hit Canada with 50% tariffs. Canada striking back tonight, imposing new tariffs on 700 different American goods sold in Canada. And how much is this costing American consumers? Tonight, with the start of the NFL season nearly here and kids starting football season at school, the new and alarming study tonight. What they found in the brains of NFL players, 1 in 4, showing the brain disease CTE. Tonight, it is back to school, and now the measles outbreak in the U.S. Health officials now reporting the first 2 deadly cases this year, the cases in Pennsylvania. Tonight, ABC News has learned the CIA director is on a secret trip to Moscow for unannounced talks with Russia, what we've learned. Tonight, the coach attacked by an alligator in front of his athletes, what he did to survive. And this evening, why Target is now apologizing for one of its children's Halloween costumes.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Tuesday night. And we begin tonight with the sad news we learned this afternoon, the heartbreaking death of an American original, Dolly Parton. The legendary singer and songwriter, an actress and entrepreneur, an inspiration to millions here in the U.S. and around the world. She brought people together, her voice, her talent, her kindness, and her deep attachment to her humble roots. A timeless collection of American classics, Jolene, I Will Always Love You, Here You Come Again, 9 to 5, so many other songs. Throughout her life, she gave to so many. Her literacy program, for one, Dolly's Imagination Library, delivering more than 300 million free books to children here and around the world. What Dolly Parton's family is now saying tonight, what Dolly had just said about her health, and tonight the tributes pouring in for a true American treasure.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Dolly Parton was an American original. A music legend, a storyteller, a businesswoman with remarkable instincts, a philanthropist whose quiet generosity changed lives far beyond the spotlight. And to millions, she felt like family. From the mountains of eastern Tennessee to the grandest stages in the world, her journey was unlikely and uniquely her own. Born on January 19, 1946, she grew up in a one-room cabin in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. One of 12 children, Dolly Parton would often draw on her childhood in Appalachia. Her father, Robert Lee Parton, a farmer, paid the doctor who delivered her with a bag of oatmeal. They had no electricity, no running water. She would say her childhood was rich in love. Her family sang together often in their one-room cabin, one of her most beloved songs, Coat of Many Colors.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me, made only from rags, but I wore it so proudly. I know we had no money, but I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors my mama made for me.
And the day after she graduated high school, she left for Nashville. It's where she would meet her husband, Carl Dean, at the laundromat on her first day in Nashville. They were married 59 years.
Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
She recorded Jolene in 1973, Dolly writing it in just minutes, inspired, she often said, by a red-haired bank teller who had flirted with her husband.
We're holding on, but nothing left.
She would write a farewell song to her mentor and business partner, Porter Wagner, when she went out on her own. I Will Always Love You. It was her message of gratitude. The song going to #1 twice, in 1974, and then again nearly 20 years later in 1992, when Whitney Houston recorded it for the movie The Bodyguard. In recent years, Dolly telling Howard Stern about the first time she heard Whitney Houston perform her song. She was in her car, and she had to pull over.
I almost wrecked, honest to God. Had to pull over to the side at a Walgreens, there in Brentwood, where the Walgreens is now, and to listen to the rest of it. And it was the most overwhelming sensation, because I couldn't believe my little country sad song, could even be done like that. But to hear it like that, and it was just overwhelming. That was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
In 1980, she was convinced by Jane Fonda to join Jane and Lily Tomlin in 9 to 5. Dolly famously writing the song that defined the movie and the era.
9 to 5 for service and devotion. You would think that I would deserve a fair promotion. It just popped in my head one day, and it was when we did our first scene. I was writing this song. We were waiting in the Xerox room the first time we were together on the thing, and I started clicking my nails, which I get rhythm if I can't get to an instrument. They got you where they want you. There's a better life.
Jane Fonda through the years remembering Dolly Parton showing up to that movie set, having memorized her own lines and everyone else's lines too.
When Dolly showed up the first day, she had learned the entire script, everybody's lines, everything. She didn't know that she didn't have to learn everything.
That song shooting to #1, earning a Grammy Award and an Oscar nomination. Dolly Parton telling the New York Times in 2002, "I've created this and played it up to make up this whole persona, but this isn't all I am. It's not even most of what I am. Hopefully people can see beneath." And of course, millions around the world did. Drawn to her lyrics, her love for all, her humanity. Her roots, her family, were the foundation for all that she did.
But oh, didn't we have such a good life? And the days that I knew then are the happiest I know.
Her mom, dad, and brother in 1976. The family still singing.
In the pines where the sun never shines.
The late 60 Minutes correspondent Morley Safer once showing Dolly an early video of her singing and dancing with her family. She was moved to tears during the interview.
That's very touching to me, because Mom and Daddy are both gone now. I haven't seen that in so long. We just pulled at my heart there.
Would you like a drink?
No, that's okay. Yeah, whiskey? Yeah, some moonshine would be nice about now.
Her reach far beyond her music. Along the way, she built a business empire, Dollywood, a tribute to her hometown, bringing jobs and pride to the Smoky Mountains.
I have a big dream of being involved in a place in East Tennessee, my hometown, up in Gatlinburg, which is one of the most wonderful places in the world, called Dollywood, USA.
Through the decades, Dolly collaborating with so many artists. Her duet with Kenny Rogers, iconic.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are.
Islands in the Stream in 1982.
How can we be wrong?
There would be firsts and new heights her entire career. The Country Music Hall of Fame, and in recent years, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I figure if I'm going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm going to have to earn it.
Dolly on stage with a generation of performers inspired by Dolly Parton. Hollywood would honor Dolly too. There were several movies beyond 9 to 5. Steel Magnolias with Shirley MacLaine and Julia Roberts.
Why don't we just focus on the joy of the situation?
Dolly Parton receiving an honorary Oscar at 79.
To receive this? I mean, that's a blessing of a lifetime.
Over the years, Dolly Parton would give hundreds of millions of dollars to causes near to her.
I think I can, she said. Won't you help me? All of you help me. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can.
In 1995, starting the Imagination Library, mailing free books to children. More than 300 million books delivered. The Library of Congress honoring her.
My dad couldn't read and write, so I wanted to do something to make him feel part of something special.
During the pandemic, donating $1 million to Vanderbilt University's COVID-19 research.
Vaccine, 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 vaccine.
Research that helped develop the Moderna vaccine. When Hurricane Helene hit in 2024, Dolly was in a Walmart parking lot with a donation.
I'm donating $1 million today,
hoping to help them heal. In recent months, Dolly sharing her health struggles, postponing a Las Vegas residency, and just last week, saying she could not travel for an opening, suggesting the doctor had sort of clipped her wings.
And so my national doctor has kind of clipped my wings, saying, you ain't traveling this week. So I guess if your doctor tells you you ain't traveling this week, you ain't traveling this week.
And late today, her nephew with a message, saying his Aunt Dolly had asked him to do this.
Dolly was a farmer, just like her daddy. He farmed the soil, she farmed songs and happiness. Dolly called me and said she wants to rest in a beautiful bed of plush cotton because after a life wearing heavy rhinestones, she finally deserves to be comfortable and have some rest. Rest in peace, Aunt Dolly, Aunt Granny, Gigi. May God bless Dolly Parton, and may God bless you all. She will always love you.
The song she wrote all those years ago, now a gift to us. Her lyrics, her own words, reflecting how millions of Americans will always feel about her.
I will always love you.
I think everyone is feeling this tonight. We all wanted Dolly Parton to last forever. She lifted up so many. Tonight, Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 co-star Jane Fonda saying she is, quote, devastated, adding that Dolly will always be with us because she was so present, so powerful, so generous. And tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC, a special edition of 2020, Dolly Parton, an American original. We look back. Dolly Parton in her own words, never before seen interviews, the stories we didn't know, her music, her movies. 10 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC. Let's celebrate Dolly later tonight. In the meantime, we turn to the other news this Tuesday night. The fire emergency outside Fort Worth, Texas at this hour. Homes engulfed in flames. Out of control fires now in Texas and Nevada. ABC's Melissa Adon in the fire zone.
Tonight, west of Fort Worth, Texas, it's an all-out aerial assault on the out-of-control Ross Fire. The raging inferno going from 25 acres to more than 50,000 in less than a day. That's nearly 80 square miles, an area roughly the size of Baltimore. This large home completely engulfed, others destroyed. The fire melting this building's metal roof. It's fueled by bone-dry brush and triple-digit temperatures that have plagued the West all summer. Outside Reno, firefighters are still trying to gain the upper hand on a fire that's forced tens of thousands to evacuate. The flames from the Hawk fire coming down this hillside, jumping that highway and then destroying this home. That home, one of at least 47 confirmed destroyed. David, as evacuations lift and residents in northern Reno return home to scenes like this, the triple-digit heat could continue for several more days as temperatures could reach up to 115 degrees in the southwest.
David.
Melissa Dunn with us again tonight. Melissa, thank you. Also just in tonight, we have learned a U.S. Army Blackhawk helicopter has gone down outside Denver. The Army says the chopper crashed during a training exercise. 4 Army Special Operations aviators were on board. We're told no serious injuries were reported, but of course the cause of that crash is now under investigation. Tonight, the U.S.-Canada trade war taking a sweeping turn after President Trump hit Canada with 50% tariffs. Canada now striking back tonight, imposing new tariffs on 700 different American goods sold in Canada. Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, after President Trump imposed steep new tariffs on Canadian goods, Canada now firing back with tariffs of up to 50% on some 700 American products sold in Canada.
Canada will match the United States tariffs dollar for dollar, rate for rate.
Canada doubling its tariffs on American goods, including steel, aluminum, furniture, and clothing. Here in the U.S., President Trump's tariffs on Canadian goods now forcing small businesses like Jesse Prager's hardware store in Philadelphia to raise prices.
2x4 went from $5 up to, I think I'm now at $12 to $14 for one 2x4.
President Trump today fuming Canada has been ripping off the USA for decades, adding, "I deal with many countries and Canada is easily the most difficult and unreasonable." The president later posting, "The United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America." Canadian officials unfazed.
We'll always call it Lake Ontario.
Great Lakes.
Period.
And David, amid the president's new trade war with Canada, a new report shows all the tariffs that he has imposed on goods from other countries is really taking a toll on American families, costing them nearly $1,100 more a year, David.
Rachel Scott live at the White House again tonight. Rachel, thanks. Tonight, with the start of the NFL season nearly here and kids starting football season at school, the new and alarming study, what they found in the brains of NFL players. Here's Steve Osunsami.
The warning tonight for American football players of every age is coming just as the NFL is on the field, getting ready for preseason games Thursday night. Scientists are estimating that at least 25% of nearly 900 NFL players who died between 2016 and 2021 were sick with CTE, the degenerative brain disease caused by repetitive hits. But their bigger warning comes after looking at the actual brains of 338 of those players, donated by their families to the scientists. 93.2% were positive for CTE.
It means that hundreds of current NFL players are at risk for developing this. It means that at least a quarter of any of the players on a given team are at risk for developing this.
Responding to this, the NFL says it continually strives to make the game of football safer, including by implementing strategies to reduce concussions and head impacts.
The NFL Players Union also has a warning about all this tonight, calling this a call to action across the entire football ecosystem, including the NFL, college, high school sports, even youth leagues. David?
Steve Osunsami with us tonight. Thanks, Steve. Tonight, as millions of children head back to school, health officials in Pennsylvania are reporting the first 2 deaths of the year from the measles outbreak spreading across the U.S. Health officials say the 2 unvaccinated patients died from measles in Lancaster County. The measles all but eliminated in the U.S. decades ago, but is now surging to record levels. Tonight, ABC News has learned that CIA Director John Ratcliffe has made a secret trip to Moscow for unannounced talks with Russian officials. That U.S. Air Force C-17 arriving earlier, marking the first visit from a CIA director since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Officials telling ABC News Ratcliffe held several high-level meetings. When we come back here tonight, the Trump administration's new threat to tear down the Kennedy Center, why they're threatening this. Also tonight, a coach attacked by an alligator right in front of his team, and what he did to survive in a moment here. Tonight, the Trump administration is now threatening to demolish the Kennedy Center if it's not allowed to move forward with renovations and allowed to add President Trump's name to the front of the building. Justice Department lawyers arguing without the president's help, the, quote, decrepit venue would go into a, quote, death spiral. President Trump's name went up at the Kennedy Center in December. A judge then ordered it taken down. Tonight, a triathlon coach attacked by an alligator while training in a river in South Carolina. Jonathan Bruni says he was swimming near North Augusta when a gator latched onto his arm. Bruni says he squeezed the gator's head and eyes until the alligator let him go. He then yelled for other athletes to get out of the water. Bruni is recovering tonight from that bite. When we come back here, why Target is now apologizing for a children's Halloween costume. And there are new tributes pouring in right now for Dolly Parton. To the Index, Target is now apologizing tonight and removing a Halloween costume criticized as racist. The children's costume causing controversy after being compared to racist caricatures. Target tonight saying in a statement they are deeply sorry and, quote, removing the costume is an important first step and we are looking closely at how this happened. When we come back tonight, what Mick Jagger and Elton John just said about Dolly Parton.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by the Wellness Company.
Dolly Parton, her music, her style, her compassion, her influence. There was only one Dolly. Now tonight at 10/9 Central on ABC. Dolly Parton, an American original, and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Tonight, the tributes pouring in for Dolly Parton. Mick Jagger tonight saying she brought so many people together. We will all miss her so much. Elton John remembering her as a giant of an artist, unique and irreplaceable, with the kindest heart. We agree. Tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, Dolly Parton, an American original, a special edition of 2020. That's tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern here on ABC. I'll see you then. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.